Hello guys, another little adventure. So come down from Sizewell last night to Devon this morning to Wistmans Wood, and we're greeted with perfect conditions. It's amazing. Couldn't have asked for better, so I'm just going to wander into Wistmans Wood and hopefully get several interesting photographs, different compositions, woodland compositions, minimalist compositions, trees disappearing into the mist, shallowish depth of field. So as you can tell, I'm quite excited, but it's a perfect day. And after this, tomorrow I think I'll head off to Blacktor, and there's a copse similar to Wistmans Wood just down the bottom on the west hand side, the west side of it. Yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, it's an exciting visit, having driven 5 hours last night to get down here, and then stayed in a lay-by overnight, and now walking into Wistmans Wood. So yeah, very excited. So I'll talk you through a few compositions when we're in there, and post a few photos throughout the video. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on this little adventure. And if you like it, yeah, tap subscribe, tap like, and comment. I'll always read your comments, and yeah, would love to interact with you guys, so please comment away. I'll talk to you in a bit. Hi guys, I finally made it to Wistmans Wood, and what a beautiful place it is. If you get the chance, come and visit it. It really is lovely. It does give you that feeling of an ancient woodland, the old man's beard hanging from the trees. There's a little river just washing down below the wood. It's beautiful, really lovely. But yeah, it's fairly misty, but unfortunately the mist has lifted a bit apart from above the woods, so it's not dropping into the valley, more sort of low cloud cover, I guess you'd say. But yeah, I'm going to play with a few compositions anyway, and see what we can come up with. This one's about the cylindrical effect here. I'm zoomed in quite close so you can see through to the back of the woods, and I'm at f11 ISO 64 in about 2 seconds, and then I'll do a further shot towards the back of the scene to allow for sharpness throughout the picture, and then I will carry on wandering through the woods and see what I can find. It's just a really beautiful location. So yeah, hope you enjoy this video. Like and subscribe, and I'll post some shots throughout the video. Thanks again for taking the time to watch. So on to another composition, and as I was standing here, a leaf just literally fluttered down and just landed on top of here, which gives a nice little compositional aid. So what I'm going to do is use this in the bottom left hand, use this as a frame, natural frame, and then you've got this tree that comes out here and leads back into the frame, so that all works really well to give dimension and depth with a foreground interest. So I'm going to do a shallow depth of field, but I'm also going to do focus stacked image so that I can get everything sharp and then see what it looks like. But I think that will work really nice. So it'll be f4, probably a 30th of a second at ISO 64, and then again ISO 64 but f11 focus stacked at about 1 second. So we'll see what it looks like. So yeah, I've just found a intimate composition here which I quite like. Here comes the rain, but it's quite cool in that, well, it's better that I show you really. So here we go. So we've got these little ferns down here, then this rock here, and then this little fern here, and then this curious shape within the tree there where I presume it's grown around something or been eaten through, and then the little rock here. So that's going to be a portrait composition featuring those as a nice intimate scene. Again, I'm going to need a higher ISO because the fern on the tree there is just moving very slightly, so it'll be a combination of a low ISO, longer exposure, and a higher ISO exposure to freeze the motion in the little ferns there. Well, that'd be quite a nice little intimate composition, I think. One last composition today before I go back and find the campsite and then chill out for the evening. It was a 5-hour drive this morning, last night, and then slept in a lay-by to go and get my van repaired first thing this morning, and then over to Wistmans Wood. So yeah, now it's last composition before I go and have some dinner and a cup of tea. So I'll talk you through it briefly. So it's this natural frame here. I'm zoomed in at about 70mm with the glowing rock and the autumnal ferns in the bottom. So it's quite a nice natural frame with a highlighted glowing mossy rock. So I think that'll work quite well. And I'm up at ISO 400 to freeze the motion because there is a little bit of motion in the leaves. So I'm trying to keep it about 1/15 of a second, and then do a little bit of focus stacking, 3 pictures, and hopefully that will work well. Fantastic conditions for a first visit to Wistmans. Really pleased with it. So this is the composition I found here, which I quite like. So we've got at the base here, we've got a nice piece of natural framing that runs through the base of the image, and then we've got these trees lining up and taking us to the back of the image, and then we've got an interesting boulder in the mid-ground which I'll place just off centre. So it gives us something to read all the way through the frame. So we've got something to start off down here, and then we can read all the way through and spend time in the picture. That's the idea. So yeah, compositionally I think that works. I am going to bump the shutter speed up to about 1/15 of a second to freeze some of the movement in here, which is going to be bumping the ISO up basically. I'm going to go 20th of a second. Okay, so it's placing a focus point, so in fact we can turn the touch AF and shutter. So if we go touch AF on this, and then we touch there to autofocus, and then we touch there and shoot, so it's autofocus and shoot, and then we touch in the background, so that's 3 shots. So we're going to do the same again. I'm going to up the shutter speed to drop the exposure, which will allow me to control the highlights that are above the leaves, and then I'll blend them together. So we go focus and shoot, 2-second delay, focus and shoot, 2-second delay, focus and shoot, 2-second delay, focus and shoot, 2-second delay. So I think that's going to work. So we're at a 40th of a second there at ISO 320. I'm going to cap that with a picture of my hand just to know where we are, and then I'm going to drop it down to about 20th of a second, ISO 200, and do the same again. Do one underexposed, just to control the highlights. So I think that'll work quite well. So one last composition. I said that on the last one, but I've just been wandering back here and I quite like this gnarly old piece here, so I think I'm going to photograph that, but I'm going to do it with a shallow depth of field, so I'm going to use it as a lead-in from the bottom left hand side rather than photographing it straight on, so it moves through the frame but it does lead out of the frame. I just think it's quite interesting, so whether it's a decent photo or not, you guys can let me know. But yeah, what I'm going to do is focus stack it so that it remains a shallow depth of field. So I'm going to do various shots at 200 ISO, f4, and then focus at about 8 or 9 points on the rock. Sorry, on the log. So focus at 8 or 9 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then blend them together so the log itself is in perfect sharpness, but everything else around it is out of focus, has shallow depth of field. So I think that will work quite well. I'll give it a go now and see what it looks like. Let me know what you think in the comments. And I've already said before, I think, but if not, thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos, and if you like them, please give it a like and subscribe. It will help the channel grow. Aim to bring you plenty more content, so yeah, thanks again.